While exploring Skyrim, we can find a book titled Lost Legends. I found one copy in the back of Farengar's study, inside Dragon's Reach. The book reads, "The history of Skyrim is vast, predating even the most ancient records of man and Mer. Much has been lost, fallen to the ravages of war or the turning of the ages, but nothing is ever truly forgotten. Where no records exist, legends and folk tales offer us a key to the past, a way to piece together truths half remembered in the minds of men. For generations, the people of Morthal have told whispered tales of the Pale Lady, a ghostly woman who wanders the northern marshes, forever seeking her lost daughter. Some say she steals children who wander astray, others that her sobbing wail strikes dead all those who hear it. But behind these tales may lie a kernel of truth, for ancient records speak of Omriel, a mysterious figure Ysgramor's hires battled for decades and finally sealed away. Reachmen tell the story of Falon Red Eagle, an ancient kin who rallied his people and drove back the armies of Cyrodiil with a flaming sword. Though accounts vary, they too seem to be based on an underlying truth. The Imperial Chronicles of Empress Hestra mention a rebel leader of that era who was eventually cornered and slain in battle, at the cost of a full legion of men. But some tales prove far harder to analyze. Among scholars, perhaps the best known is the forbidden legend of the Archmage Guldur. In the dawning days of the First Era, the story goes, there lived a powerful wizard by the name of Guldur. Wise and just, he was well known in the courts of King Harold and the Jarls of Skyrim, and his aid and counsel were sought by man and Mer alike. And then he was murdered. Some say one of his sons killed him, others that King Harold, jealous of his power, gave the order. But Guldur's 3 sons fled into the night, pursued by a company of Harold's best warriors and the Lord Germund, the king's personal battle mage. A great chase ensued, from the wilds of the Reach to the glacial north. One brother is said to have perished in the ruins of Folgunthur at the foot of Solitude. The others were run to ground soon thereafter, and once it was done, King Harold ordered every record of their murders destroyed, and Guldur's name and deeds were struck from the rolls of history. Even today, few sources remain, and no bard will tell the tale, but perhaps the truth yet remains in some ancient ruin, waiting to be unearthed. For nothing is ever truly forgotten. And with that, we get a new quest called Forbidden Legend. Now we can head to Folgunthur to find our next clue about what happened to Guldur. As we reach Folgunthur, we find an abandoned campsite with the journal of Danis Valen. The journal reads, 18th of Morning Star, 4th Era 201. How long has it been since I first heard the Guldur legend? 80 years? 100? I can think of nothing else now. My goal is at hand. After years of searching, I finally traced the ivory claw to a collector in Breville. His death was necessary, but I have it. At last, I have it! 22nd of Morning Star, 4th Era 201. 3 days of non-stop riding, I reached Anvil ahead of my pursuers and took passage on the Ice Runner, bound for Solitude once more. 29th of Morning Star, 4th Era 201. The other passengers are becoming suspicious. Returning from dinner, I caught one brute rooting around in my quarters. He almost found the claw. Had the captain not intervened, I would have flayed him alive. I hope to spend the voyage sequestered in my room, reviewing my notes and preparing spells, but I need to deflect some attention from myself. I'll have to mingle, pretend to be just another pretty mage, for now. 2nd of Sun's Dawn, 4th Era 201. The brute claims to be an adventurer, off to seek his fortune in the ruins of Skyrim with his companions. Perhaps I can turn this to my advantage, use them as fodder for the traps and Draugr within the tombs. I can see the greed in his eyes. Yes, that should work. 3 weeks to Solitude, the captain says. If I have to suffer these fools longer than that, I'll swim. 27th of Sun's Dawn, 4th Era 201. With the brute and his companions in tow, I led our brand across the marsh to Folgunthur, where we made camp for the night. Little has changed since my first expedition 10 years ago, but this time I have the claw, and I will have the amulet. I spent all night preparing a synopsis of my notes in case some fragment of the tale or piece of ancient lore may be needed to bypass the wards within the tomb. Then I cast all my books and scrolls into the fire and reduced my life's work to ashes. At long last, today is the day of reckoning. If I cannot have the amulet, no one will. So from his journals, we can assume that Valen was a very ambitious man, and he was obsessed with obtaining the amulet. So, we continue on with our quest through Folgunther. Inside Folgunther, on the second floor, we find the body of Danis Valen, along with an ivory dragon claw and some notes. As we pick up Danis Valen's notes, it adds the following map markers at German's Hall, Sarthal, and Reachwater Rock. Inside the notes, it says, "How to summarize a lifetime of research. So little of what I have learned matters now. The petty politics of ancient times, the age-long campaign to wipe out all mention of the golden name. I know not what awaits us within Folgunther, so here, then, is the truth of the tale, as best as I have been able to piece it together. In the opening days of the First Era, the Archmage Golder was revered throughout the North. Wisdom, wealth, honor, and power were his, and even Ysgramor's hires sought his counsel. Smothered by his shadow, Galder's 3 sons grew cruel and resentful. They lusted after their father's power and prestige, and eventually Jirik, the eldest, discovered its source, a mysterious amulet from which he never parted. Together, they conspired to murder their father in his sleep and divide his amulet between them, and so it was done. Consumed by their newfound power, the brothers laid waste to the surrounding villages. So great was the carnage that the Highkin himself intervened, sending a company of battle mages led by the Archmage Germund to subdue the brothers. And after a devastating battle, the 3 fled the field. Mikril, the youngest, was run to ground in Folgunther, the ancient barrows at the foot of Solitude. And though he fought for 3 days and nights, he was at last overcome and entombed there, his crypt sealed by an ivory claw. Germund pursued Jirik to the shattered crypts of Sarthal, half buried even there. 10 veteran wizards fell before Jirik's elemental magic, but he could not overcome them altogether. He too fell and was sealed within the ruined city. And at last, Sigdis was cornered in the southernmost reaches of Skyrim. He challenged the Lord Germund to a duel, knowing his foe was honor-bound to accept, and they clashed in battle, matched strength for strength, and fell together on the field before Ivarstead. The Highkin ordered a tomb built for Germund on the lake which still bears his name and had Sigdis sealed within, forever guarded by the one who slew him. Galder himself was interred in a cave not far from where his tower once stood, in the place called Reachwater Rock. And when it was done, King Harold issued an edict. The name and deeds of Galder and his sons were to be expunged from every record, every chronicle, under pain of death. No word of them was to be spoken, lest any try to recover the amulet that had been sealed away at such great a cost. And so it was done, but a little survived the ages, enough. 4,000 years have passed, and the tombs remain sealed. The fragments of the Golder amulet lie within. Since the day I first heard the rumor, I have felt its power, calling to me, pulling at me. I will be the one to reclaim it, restore it, bear it out into the world once more. I must have it! I must! And with that, we can use the ivory claw to get across a bridge and continue on into Folgunther. After fighting our way through Folgunther, we come to a sealed door. For this, we need to inspect the ivory dragon claw to see the combination on it. Bird, bird, dragon. Now we can use that code to open the door and proceed into the Folgunther crypt. As we arrive in the crypt, we find the youngest of the Golder brothers, Mikril Golderson. On his body, we find the Golder amulet fragment, a special sword called the Golder Blackblade, and a writ of sealing which reads, "Be bound here, Mickrel, murderer, betrayer, condemned by your crimes against realm and lord. May your name and your deeds be forgotten forever, and the charm which you bear be sealed by our ward." We can now leave Folgunter through a secret sarcophagus exit and head to our next location, Saarthal. At the end of the College of Winterhold quest under Saarthal, we find an anomaly guarded by Jirik Golderson, the eldest of the Golder brothers.
Well now, come on. Yeah?
At first, he's invulnerable to our attacks, so we just have to hold out until his magic weakens. After defeating Jirik, we can loot his body to find another Golder amulet fragment and a writ of sealing.
I'm not the only one seeing this, am I? Boy, this is utterly unique.
Now before leaving, we can check the table to find a greater soul gem and the staff of Jirik Golderson. Next, we need to travel to Gurman's Hall and search for the final Golder brother. As we make our way through Gurman's Hall, we find the body of the Archmage Gurmund, along with Lord Gurman's key and Gurman's epitaph. It reads, "Lord Gurmund, Archmage of Windhelm, Lord Battlemage of Kin Harold, Magus, keep thy vigil eternal. Serve now in death as you did in life. By these seals our realm preserve, from traitors three and their charm of strife." As we reach the end of Gurman's Hall, we come face to face with Sigdis Golderson. We can take a few whacks at him before he disappears, and then pull out our bow to make the fight easier. If we're not careful enough, he can use his shouts to knock our weapon out of our hands. Now we can quickly re-equip our bow and finish him off. On his body, we find the final Golder amulet fragment, a writ of sealing, and a special bow called the Golder Black Bow. With that, we're ready to reforge the Golder amulet. Our final quest marker brings us to Reachwater Rock. Inside, we can find the body of an adventurer. On their body, we find another copy of Lost Legends, and nothing really notable besides that. Next to the body, we find an emerald dragon claw in an ancient edict. It reads, "Let this place be forgotten forever. Let it be struck from the rolls of history. Let it never be spoken of by man or mer. Let its very name be lost to the ages. Ye who enter here know, this place was sealed at great price. Honor those who perished here. Turn back and leave them to their rest. Ignoring the warning, we continue on and use our new emerald dragon claw to open the first door. Bear, whale, snake. Now we can continue on to the last door, which will need the ivory claw to open. Bird, bird, dragon. And we continue on into the depths of Reachwater Rock. Now we can place all 3 amulet fragments on the pedestals, and when we do, the 3 ghosts of the Golden Brothers appear, and one of them steps up to fight. Looks like these guys still haven't learned their lesson, so we're gonna have to teach them all a second time. After defeating Mikro, Sigidus steps up to fight. After defeating Sigidus, Jarek steps up for one final fight. I don't know what this is all about, so don't ask. Once we defeat Jarek for the final time, we see all three Golder brothers get vanquished by an unseen force. Then we realize it was the Archmage Golder himself. As a token for all our hard work, he reforges the Golder amulet for us to keep. With that, we can claim the amulet for ourselves. We have now officially avenged Golder and completed the Forbidden Legend. Checking the stats, we find that the Golder amulet is one of the best items in the game. We can now leave with our newfound amulet and continue our path as Dragonborn. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and if there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.